There's one thing about video games that's really started to interest me the more I think about it, and that's, well, short people. There's a lot of video game characters that are very short for some reason. Sure, you have your occasional Kratos or Samus, but a lot of the characters we know and love are fairly small in size compared to other things in their universe. Now, I'm not saying this is a bad thing or anything, because as a short king myself, I embrace it. So I decided, why not highlight some of the best short kings in the video game industry? I really need to get better at talking into a camera, geez. Obviously, I can't include every single short character in existence for this video, since my gaming tastes are different than yours, but that's what the comment section's for, so be sure to let me know in the comments who else should have been in this video. Before we begin, let's get a few clarifications out of the way. The characters will be determined as short depending on a few things, mostly by how they compare to other characters of the same species, or just other species in the game as well. And you might be saying, but Wyvern, of course these characters are gonna be short. They're like cartoon characters. And yeah, I guess you could say that, but hey, I need a video for this week, so shut the hell up. Anyway, let's begin, why don't we? We might as well start off with the most obvious short king, Mario. We've already hinted at Mario being included in this video already. I mean, did you honestly think he wouldn't be? Mario is said to be 5 foot 1 inches, and while that basically makes him shorter than Napoleon, he's just as dangerous. The only difference being Mario was never defeated at the Battle of Waterloo. Mario is still taller than the Toads, but he's significantly shorter than Luigi and Peach. He's also from Brooklyn, so I think it's pretty safe to say that Mario is indeed a short king. So you know how I said Mario is the most obvious short king? Well, that might actually be debatable, because Link from The Legend of Zelda is probably the best short king in gaming history. Pretty much every single Link throughout the timeline has been shorter than everybody else. It doesn't matter what age Link is, or what art style this specific Zelda game is in. Link is always short, and I mean, I guess that makes sense if they're all related, but the reason Link is the best short king in gaming is because he's iconic, and he's basically a symbol of masculinity. There's no denying that Link is an absolute Chad. There's conflicting answers on what height Link really is, especially considering there's different Links throughout the franchise. But the most important thing is, he's shorter than basically every other Hylian. Shovel Knight is a game that sort of marked the starting point towards indie games making more of an impact on the industry, and they did it with a character who is approximately 4 foot 6 inches tall. This dude can't even ride all the roller coasters at Hershey Park. Despite that, he's an absolute Giga Chad as well. For a game based in the style of an NES side-scroller, we get a good bit of insight on how great of a character Shovel Knight is. He possesses knowledge, discipline, honor, and a devotion to his cause. He's a great role model for men, even if he's just a few pixels on a screen. Don't ask me why he fights with a shovel, but he uses it pretty dang well. Gotta respect it. Stay strong, king. Alright, so I think this next character is gonna end up being the shortest character on the list. Diddy Kong is 3 foot 9. Now yes, I know he's a monkey, so just because he's 3'9" doesn't inherently mean he's short. However, when you factor in that in the Donkey Kong universe, Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong are the same species, they're both Kong, you start to wonder if Diddy is a short king as well. It could just be that they're not the same species, but they're still a family. After all, Donkey Kong is clearly a gorilla, meanwhile Diddy Kong and Dixie Kong are clearly monkeys. Anyway, we could spend a lot of time debating this, but just let me know what you think down in the comments. Okay, I lied about Diddy Kong being the shortest, because according to the top search result on Google, the Hollow Knight protagonist is 1 foot 1.5. The Hollow Knight protagonist is part of a species known as vessels. In this game, vessels are usually around the same height. For this segment, I'm just considering the entire vessel species to be short, because damn. The Hollow Knight protagonist, commonly referred to as the Knight, is an absolute Giga Chad who fears absolutely nothing, just like every other short king. It's important to point out that the vessel creatures from this game are canonically genderless. However, the vessel we play as has undeniable masculine traits like strength, bravery, and perseverance, to the point where I wouldn't mind considering this guy a short king. The Knight from Hollow Knight is definitely a short king in my eyes. You know what? I don't even believe this anymore. Kirby is 8 inches tall. 8 inches. Now, I'm not the biggest Kirby fan. The only mainline Kirby game I've played is Forgotten Land, which was a fantastic game. But I know enough about Kirby to know that isn't he like considered one of the most powerful video game characters ever? I could be completely wrong, but I don't know. He can swallow literal cars, so it's pretty safe to assume. Also, I can't help but question Kirby's height because he looks to be at least 2 feet in Super Smash Bros. It just doesn't add up. But either way, he's a short king. So now let's talk about Sans. Sans' height hasn't been confirmed as far as I know, but he's most likely around 3 feet or so. And while this dude could technically be considered one of the weakest enemies in the game physically, he still has the hardest boss fight in Undertale. He's also got a great personality, which short kings should have. He's great at telling jokes and is generally gentle and easygoing, but if there's one thing we know from the genocide route of Undertale, it's that Sans can be serious when he needs to be. Overall, great character and another example of a video game short king. So that was pretty much the main characters that I wanted to go through today. Like I said earlier, feel free to let me know in the comments who else I should have taken a look at. So now we're gonna ask the question, why? Why are video game characters short, especially action characters? Aren't action characters supposed to have an intimidating and menacing exterior? Of course. When playing an action game, you want to be able to do things you wouldn't be able to do in real life, which normally amounts to playing as someone or something that's built to be able to do these things. So why are so many action heroes in the gaming industry designed to be smaller than the rest of the game's characters? Here's what I think. I think these games are going for something different. Instead of immersing yourself as someone visibly strong, you're a character who represents, for lack of a better term, an underdog. A character that you wouldn't think would be able to do these things, yet still can. I actually view this as a sort of inspirational thing. Is it realistic for this tiny little vessel guy to completely obliterate his older brother in combat? No. But think about it this way. It's more masculine for a hero to defeat something 10 times their size, right? That's what heroes do. They defy all odds. And in the video game industry, we definitely see short kings at their absolute best. I hope you enjoyed this incredibly strange and somewhat pointless video. I thought this would be a funny yet interesting thing to cover on the channel, and that's about it. See you next time.